Tonight on Paige's Kitchen, we're making a very quick pizza that will be using a lot of fresh ingredients that's starting to come in this time of the year. An unusual ingredient that we're putting on this is fresh corn. This is actually two cobs or ears of corn that I just took a knife and went ahead and took the kernels off. We'll also be having, I've got about 1.5 cups of fresh grated whole milk mozzarella. You could use skim milk if you prefer that. I have some prosciutto here. We'll be dressing it once it comes out of the oven with this fresh arugula and some basil, and I'll be adding a couple little condiments onto the arugula. And instead of using a sauce, we're just using olive oil and fresh garlic. So these are just some simple pizza crusts. If you wanted to make your own pizza crust, you could, but I get these at Trader Joe's. You can also get them at other markets. Baboli is another brand that you could try using. So whatever is the easiest for you. So I've got the oven is heating now at 425. This will go in just until it's basically heated all the way through for about 10 minutes. Keep a watch on it. You don't want the cheese to burn. So I'm just going to brush this olive oil and fresh garlic. You don't need any sauce for this. You'll be surprised at how good this olive oil is with the garlic on here. And then we're basically just going to layer the ingredients on here. The corn is just something unusual, I think, that your guests or your family will be surprised about, but we have wonderful corn here in Florida, so I'd like to showcase the things that we have. So there's no rhyme or reason really how that you want to add this. I go ahead and just add the prosciutto on here, and you could cut this in little small pieces if you like. The important thing is you want each bite to be able to have some on there. Now, if you're trying to make this vegetarian, then just don't put the prosciutto on here. You don't need to add any salt to this, because if you've had prosciutto before, or maybe if you have other dried meats that you like, you know that it tends to be a little salty, so you don't need any salt on this pizza at all. So now I'll be adding the corn on here. You'll just be sprinkling this on here. This gets nice and crunchy, plus, you know, corn is so sweet. If you wanted to use Silver Queen, which is actually my favorite, I didn't see any at the store, so I went ahead and bought the yellow, but I love the white Silver Queen corn. I used to grow that. My family had a huge garden in West Virginia, and that was one of my dad's favorites that he grew. So we'll go ahead and add the corn on there. Again, if you really love corn, then add more. Now we're going to add the cheese on here. And again, we've talked about this before, but if you have time, please grate your own cheese. It tastes so much better, it melts better. I mean, everything about it is better than buying the one that's already grated. I understand if there's a time constraint for you though, because I think time is the one thing all of us could use more of and we don't have enough of. So I'm going to put this in the oven. I'll keep a watch on it. At about 10 minutes, I could take it out that soon. I'll see how the cheese is doing. And that's all there is to this. So let's get this into the oven and get it baking. Okay, while the pizza is baking in the oven, I'm going to add just a little tiny bit, like a very small amount, of red wine vinegar to this baby arugula. Just enough to make it shiny and give it just a tiny bit of taste. And olive oil makes it really pretty. Then I'll add some Italian herbs in that other container. Just a little. And I've got some salt in here. Add a little bit of salt. And then these are the Italian herbs. And I'll just sprinkle. This has got oregano in it and just your basic Italian seasonings. Toss this up, and this is going to go on top. It looks pretty and it tastes really good. So this will go on after I put the basil on. I'll tear that basil up and put it on, and then I'll put this arugula on the top. Then that way you can say, hey, I had a salad on my pizza. Okay. That's good. We're going to let that sit and wait for the pizza to come out. All right, the pizza's been in there around 12 or 13 minutes. As you can see, the cheese is all nice and melted. Once you take it off, let it sit there for probably maybe 5 minutes or so. If you don't, it's going to be very difficult to cut. So I went ahead and chopped up the basil. I'm going to put this basil on there first. Then if you wanted to add some red pepper flakes, if you like things a little hot, I usually add red pepper flakes to a lot of things because we like a little heat. But today I'm just going to be adding some just black pepper. And then I'll be putting the greens on top. And again, make this pizza your own. If you really like cheese, add more cheese. If you don't want to add the cheese, don't add the cheese. But I like keeping these little pizza crusts here because it makes it very fast to go ahead and make a quick snack for the family. Or so, isn't that pretty? I think that's beautiful. If I was going to add the red pepper flakes, I would do that now, and I would go ahead and add that on the top. So this is the pizza that you can make in a flash. Again, once the corn's coming in season, this is a perfect way to use this, an unexpected way to use it, and I think your guests are really going to love it. Enjoy this. I know you can do this.